Do you even know that right now the Mexicans want the white Americans out of their country? Hmm. You guys, this is crazy right now. They're chasing them out of America, and and Mexicans right now are chasing them out of Mexico. Is that not a coincidence? Oh my God. Yesterday, on July 4th, Mexicans took to the streets, breaking doors, breaking everywhere, and are saying the Americans must leave their country. Do you know what they did? Don't worry, I'm going to come back and tell you. Meanwhile, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel, like and share, okay? Let's listen to this. Guys, tell us, and then we will be back with the commentaries.
Do you know
Oh
how
my God.
obnoxious you have to be to piss off the most hospitable people on the face of planet Earth? Right? A los ciudadanos del país de Mexico, right? To the point where they're like, afuera, gringa, afuera. Like, we're done, right? We're done. Like, it's
Wow.
so crazy, right? Because I made some content about this a couple of months ago. Like I told y'all, right? The Mexicans were getting done, right? When folks were going to the restaurant, y pide la carta in inglés, and like, come on, like learn Spanish, bro. It's not that hard to learn basic Spanish. And then driving up the rents, acting like you in the 51st state when you're in a completely different country. They had enough, man. They had enough, and I'm there for it. I hope all of these gringos, all of these fools get about 15,000 quiero llorars and get the hell out of there, man. Because again, they have really, really messed up the situation or tried to mess up the situation in one of the best countries in the world, which is Mexico. Much love, baby. Estoy aquí en la lucha contigo.
These protesters in Mexico City say cross-border migration is changing their country's capital for the worse. Over the last decade, an influx of mostly American so-called digital nomads have moved here to work remotely and also enjoy a cheaper cost of living. Protesters say the newcomers have driven up rents beyond the reach of locals.
If they're going to live in a country, they have to contribute to that country. The first and simplest issue is legal migration. They come here with visas or no visas, and still the change in purchasing power generates these problems of gentrification and displacement.
I'm here because gentrification is just one more step towards colonization, dispossession, and the exploitation of our resources. Right now it's about the people, but it won't be long before they run out of oil, water, or lithium in other countries and come and take them from us.
Many Americans in Mexico are able to still receive high salaries in dollars from U.S. companies by working on laptops from their apartments.
The government is directing its public policies towards people with higher purchasing power, often illegally displacing local populations who have lived in these neighborhoods for 40, 50, and we have even documented cases of up to 60 years. In 5 years, rents have increased by 47%. This is violent for the local population. We are debating whether to pay for electricity, water, or food. Of course, we choose to eat.
Some activists blame Mexico's government. There's no simple fix. Imposing tougher visa restrictions on Americans could worsen relations with the U.S. Mexican citizens in the U.S. also send billions of dollars in remittances back to their families in Mexico. In a world where travel and communication are faster and easier than ever, these two nations are finding it harder to have neighborly relations.
This protest happened on 4th of July in Mexico City, Mexico. Mexican locals protesting gentrification, or in my words, protesting colonization. And I love that they did this on 4th of July. And in the video, you can hear protesters saying, fuera gringo, which means get out. And gringo means someone who is from the United States. They are also chanting, mi casa no es su casa, which means my house is not your house. Gringos are moving to Mexico while holding a remote United States job. And they're enjoying the cheaper cost of living because obviously they're making money in dollars and spending it in pesos. These colonizers are spiking up the rent where locals are not able to afford housing. In the last 5 years, rent has spiked up by 47%. There was a protester that said that if they are going to live, the gringos, if they are going to live in this country, they need to contribute to this country. And that is so true, because here in the United States, immigrants pay taxes. They contribute to this country. They pay over $100 billion in taxes. The gringos in Mexico are not paying taxes. They make American dollars, US dollars, so they pay taxes to the US, not Mexico. Immigration policies in other countries for US citizens are lenient to non-existent. While here in the United States, as we speak, immigrants are being kidnapped off of the streets and into these concentration camps for profit. Gentrification is just a fancy word. Let's call it what it is. It's colonization. You want close borders. You laugh and joke and celebrate, saying that you're going to feed the entire Hispanic Latino population here in the United States to alligators, but still come to our countries to colonize our countries. What is it that you say to my people in my community and all immigrants? Why don't you stay in your own country? Why don't you fight for your own country? You're not poor and can't afford rent, food in the USA because of immigrants. The United States isn't unaffordable because of immigrants, because that's why you moved to our countries, right? Because you can't afford to live in the United States. Immigrants are not the ones doing this to you. It's the greedy, rich people here in the United States. It's the greedy corporations. It's the greedy politicians doing this to you. It's the rich ruining this country. The rich here in the United States laugh at you. They think you're dumb. And that's why they lie in your face and laugh behind your back. They lie to you and tell you that it's the immigrant, that because of immigrants, you can't afford life in the United States. They lie to you and say it's because of the immigrant you can't afford food and housing. They laugh at you and lie to you, all the while lining their pockets. The Mexican local population is being illegally displaced so gringos can come and colonize Mexico. People who have lived in their neighborhoods and homes for 40, 50, 60 years being displaced so a gringo can come and colonize. Oh, and let's talk about the audacity U.S. citizens have when they come over to our countries. You want close borders, you're racist pieces of shit. You come to our country wearing your maggot hat. You don't want to hear our music. You want our restaurants to make the food more bland for you because God forbid your food have seasoning. Oh, and get this one. U.S. tourists went to Puerto Rico and started poisoning the Puerto Rican frog, el coqui, because they did not like the noise they made. I am proud of Mexican citizens protesting this colonization. This needs to stop, and other countries need to start protesting colonization as well. If you do not like immigrants and you're a racist piece of shit and want closed borders, then you should not have easy access to our beautiful countries.
It's always laughable to me that white Americans never think that they're gentrifying a place, but that their presence makes the place better versus worse. And in the conversation around the white Americans and the bulk of Americans that are indeed gentrifying Mexico City, people protesting you being there is not at all the same as immigrant folks, migrant folks being in the United States of America. Because let's start with the very real fact that when people immigrate into the United States, they do more with trying to assimilate, to be American, versus trying to make you assimilate into their culture. When the fun part about it is there is no such thing as quote unquote American culture, because the identity of the United States of America in and of itself is stolen. Everything from its food to its music to its people are bagged, borrowed, and stolen. I don't have any sympathy for people that have so much privilege that they can choose a place in which they're going to immigrate to live, be either hosted by their job or self-funded by their work, and also refuse to learn the language, eat the food, and complain about the overall cultural identity of the place when you can just, as I always say, stay your ass home.
But this is really unfair. How would you leave your own country and choose to go to Mexico all because you feel accommodation is quite cheaper in Mexico than America, right? A lot of you work as nomads, right? You guys are not even contributing to the economy of Mexico, nothing, nothing. And you all will come earning dollars, buy the exotic houses, buy cars, making everything very expensive in the city. And you expect them not to complain. You guys are not paying taxes. Of course, this will really drive them crazy. This will drive them crazy. And on top of that, a lot of you will go to the beaches and tell them, don't play this music, you must do this, you must shut the fuck up. Is it your country? Is it your country? A lot of you even fight the citizens of that country. What you know you will not tolerate from an immigrant in your own country, how dare you go do it to someone else in their own country? And you want them to tolerate? They are coming for your asses. Just like you guys have decided to deal with other people in your country, so they will also chase you out of their own countries. This is crazy. Imagine house rent spiked up to 42% or 45% increment. These locals can't even afford for it. They can't afford these things. You guys are buying it, buying everything, and not paying taxes, nothing, nothing. And they are now saying, it's time, please, we don't want you guys, go away. We don't want you in our houses. We don't want you in our country. Leave our country. Just like you Guys are deporting Hispanics right now. They are doing the same. How do you guys feel about it?
Mexican citizens protested
Oh
yesterday
my God.
against gentrification in Mexico, against Americans, Canadians, anybody who is remote working in Mexico. Thousands protest. There's even video if you search Mexican gentrification protests. They attacked American looking people in restaurants, broke windows, like violence. They wanted to get at them. And it's because they're making Mexico expensive. And they're getting blamed for making Mexico expensive because they go around saying Mexico's cheap, come here. But by doing so, rents and everything else have gone up in Mexico, making it really hard for the citizens. I keep trying to explain that the economy there is on shaky ground. There is no work. The youth don't have work. And like you see here, eventually they hit a boiling point and they start to protest about it. And that's what's happening in Mexico right now. Super interesting to keep an eye on this. If I see more, I'll let you know.
Gentrification is colonization. Let's talk about it. Recently, there's been protests in Mexico City because of the amount of people from America that have brought over their money and started their own businesses, gentrifying, making everything more expensive in parts of Mexico. Now, of course, there's some people in the comments, like Americans, being like, oh yeah, I guess they also hate when immigrants come here and take their homes and jobs. That's not what gentrification is, Ted. Gentrification is when you bring money from your country into a different country. You raise up the prices of everything because you're buying top-notch houses, you're building businesses, you're trying to basically push people that have lived in that area out of there because you're making everything too fucking expensive. And at the same time, you're going around complaining about the locals and the culture, people being up too late, making noise near your new condo that you bought in your retirement in Mexico. And I think we're going to see more of this. We're going to see more people in Mexico fighting back, pushing back against people in America, whether they're well-intended or not, coming in and doing so. Because if you're going to go into another country, as you guys like to say, you got to assimilate, you got to learn the culture. But for some reason, Americans think that they're the exception. They could go to these places, make their own areas, and that's fine and that's normal. But if hardworking immigrants want to come to America, build jobs, do their own thing, just be a part of their own communities, literally away from you, then they're an issue. But Janice and her husband can come and move somewhere to Mexico because it's so cheap for retirement, and then complain that the restaurant near them that's been there for 3 generations is too loud at night and try to get them shut down. That's gentrification. Now, if Janice and her husband moved there and they understood that things have been around and people have been around there longer than they have, that's not a problem. But Janice and her husband going and try to lease everywhere, build these businesses, not include the actual local community and people, that's not good. Gentrification.
Did y'all know they over in Mexico tearing white people's asses up right now? If you don't believe me, you can go look it up. But the Mexicans that are in Mexico are literally coming after people who are claiming to be nomads. You know, all those boomers who have now retired and are looking for a cheaper place to live with their retirement. They decided to go to Mexico and try to gentrify Mexico. And they said, no, sir, no, ma'am. The Mexican people are going through their cities where they've built all these places of shops and restaurants, and they are breaking everything. They are blaming this boomer generation and these digital nomads for the reasons why the price of living is going up. They say that over the last 5 years, just rent alone has gone up 43% because of them. They said that because of them, they are now having to choose between groceries, rent, and electricity. And they didn't waste no time telling them, get the fuck out. They even said they was coming on their beaches telling them that their mariachi bands can't play their music. The nerve. That's a cultural thing that's been going on there forever. Why would you think you get to go to someone else's country and tell them what to do? There was even one of the protesters who was quoted stating, this is how colonialism works, and we're going to put a stop to it before it ever even happens, honey. And they don't look like they're joking around, busting windows straight out, honey.
Come on, you guys, go into people's country and then you make things expensive. They are really not going to take it easy with you people. Come back to America. Why running away from America? You guys voted MAGA. Why running away from America? Come and sit with your orange man. Hmm? Who are you leaving Trump for? Come back to your country. Come sit your silly ass in America. Leave Mexico alone. You guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the commentaries in this one. Shout out to every creator on this one. It was really, really fun and interesting. If you ask me, it was fun and interesting. It's tit for tat. So, you guys, I want to see your comments in the comment section. Bye, and I'll be back with a better one next time. Bye.